This story did not begin in the wealthiest of wombs, or streams flowing with liquid gold and silver spoons dipped into stews garnished with privilege. In this story, the king was once a peasant, a humble son to parents of humble means. A firm hand on the farm, shepherds of rolling herds fetching feed for the famished of the flock. There was no power in his homestead, but everyone agreed his heart shone with the radiance of 1,000 fireflies, regardless of how dark the night. These were different times, grassroots times. Kojoli was the place he first learned to dream, under the soft glow of crackling firewood flame, to ask, what miracle can these pauper hands grow, and to pray the prayer of a seed in dirt. But dirt is a fertile ground for the germination of being. This story, from the wind-swept northeastern landscapes in all their glorious barrenness, with the gates of his father's house shut against the penetration of Western education, it seemed like the future would be full of doors no son of Garba would be able to unlock. But destiny is a dogged shadow, chasing and chasing until it caught him in Jada. God bless Kau Ali, who had learned to believe, even in those grassroots times grazed by doubt. He would register the little dreamer in a school and did not scorn his baby steps as if to say, yes, even the Iroko was once a tender seedling, learning to survive the rage of seasons. So dream, let the stars guide you. This story is about the path the dreamer towed through toil and tremor, tempest and tide, eating failure like yams. Some of them were hard to swallow, but it takes a man thirsty for triumph to keep watering his spirit when losses come encroaching like desert sands. Orphaned at 11, mother's heart gave up when the star of a chap began to glisten. He faced the world with a wrestled smile. Someone once said, grace is God's gift to you, but discipline is the gift you give yourself. Tito your daddo. This is Atiku, and Lord knows it takes a man yearning for mastery to refuse to open the door when the urge to give up comes knocking. This is Atiku, giving back generously to the very land that turned its back on him. Mounted castles where only shacks once stood. This is Atiku, who does not just say education is the key, but has forayed into the fairy furnace to forge many keys for our children. The man who has stood the test of age and times, who has ascended realms only few have dreamt. This is Atiku, battled the pressures of the Echelon to return to us as the diamond in the sky, who has scattered his seeds of unity in a land fragmented by shallow loyalties. Atiku, the man who has built empathy out of resentment, resilience out of defeat, and grace out of grass. This is Atiku, wazirin Adamawa, namiji barkono, mai akuya yayi tafiyan dare ma bale mai kura, ai wajen saukan doki ba wajen saukan jirgi bane ba, kuma koda kura baya cizo ai ba za a hada ta da rago ba, kuma mun san cewa kowa na Allah ne amma dai damo ai na mai gona ne. This man, willing to speak our problems into the light and articulate solutions for the good of all. Atiku, the man for whom our collective struggle is but a deja vu, and trust the man who has done it once to do it again. For out of Jada, a bud of hope has risen like a prophecy, and this time it will not wither in vain. By the light of his heart and the willingness of the people as active stakeholders in the business of actualizing the greater tomorrow we all dream. Nigeria, the universe is calling. It is our time to answer.
Hi guys, good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to another beautiful time on here on your favorite morning show, Every Woman on AtikuLive. My name is Tiana Waldbrasi and I have with me here IJ.
Good morning, guys. Welcome, like I said, to another exciting episode. We are so excited to have
you.
Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday. I'm not just excited that it's Friday. I'm excited that we're celebrating every woman.
Yes.
Yes, our Friday series is back, celebrating every woman. Before we even go into this conversation, we have somebody who's celebrating
Celebrating
today.
our own woman.
Yeah, we're celebrating our own woman. Today happens to be her birthday, and she has played a key role in behind the scene.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah. And not only behind the scenes, she has also joined me on Every Woman as a co-host.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she has, and that's Onyinye. Big shout out to you.
Big shout out.
Happy
birthday.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you. I mean, we say every day that we need more women behind the camera, behind the scenes. And she's the reason we're always looking beautiful when we come up here. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All right. So this is us celebrating every Nigerian woman. And today, I think today we'll do less of the attack on Nigerian system that has actually left women marginalized or kept women at the corner. Today, we're just going to look at women and how it has been from pre-colonial days up to this moment, because we know in the pre-colonial days, women had ability to own lands through their husbands. Women were involved in occupation like mat weaving, clay molding, and the rest of it. And they were doing amazingly well. Women were earning money just the same way the men were earning money. So today, we're just going to look at how women have sustained that from pre-colonial days to the 21st century. So it's something that I'm excited about, because I know it was what they have done that has translated to both of us sitting down here and me having IG as my co-host in front of the camera. It's something that when you look back and see, like I would look at my grandmother in those days and see how hardworking she would be, doing different things, multitasking at the shortest time, and she gives you results. I think she was one of the first person that told me you don't have an excuse. You shouldn't always have an excuse towards something. You should be able to do it. So these women have done it. They've kept the pathway for the younger generation like us to tread on, and it's really exciting to know. And that's what today we're celebrating every woman, starting from Oye, that's been doing the work behind the camera. To IJ that is sitting down right here, I celebrate you. You know I always celebrate you.
I celebrate you too. I mean,
you know I always celebrate you for the good work. We have someone who are celebrating today, but we're going to be talking about her and giving you more information about her, because I mean, you've heard about her and it has been on the surface. And this is no other person than the wife of the next president of Nigeria, God willing, come 2023. That's Titi Abubakar. She, we've seen the tremendous work she has done when she was wife of the vice president in 1999, and that was what gave birth. In fact, I just got to know that she was instrumental to the bill that brought forth the National Agency for the Trafficking of that's NAPTIP, and NAPTIP has been doing amazingly well.
And to think that was the first in Africa. Like Nigeria was the first in Africa to put forward an anti-trafficking bill, and it's just because this woman, as a private citizen, sponsored, pushed for that bill. I mean, it's really, really amazing what she's been able to do.
I went back to read what gave birth to Whatclef before NAPTIP, and then I just realized that it was born out of passion. Passion. We said something about in this show. We said that Nigerians are passionate people, were hardworking people, were considerate people. And what gave birth to NAPTIP and Whatclef was because she studied in Rome, and while in Rome, she realized that she saw a lot of young Nigerian girls who were being trafficked. And then she realized that they were not just trafficked there to go to school, but they were actually trafficked into prostitution. So most of them were maids and they were prostitutes. And how did they leave the country? With promise of, okay, you're going back to school, or we're going to give you a job, and maybe after 3 years you must have made a lot of money that would be able to help you fund your family back here.
It's not even that easy. And to think that these things still happen, maybe not in the same format. So obviously new formats now. And it's just scary. And you know how we say that life is not what, the problems that face you, what happens to you, the experiences that happen to you are what you make of them. It depends on how you see them, because people have been traveling to these places. They've seen these things and they've not done anything. Now, Titi Abubakar was a teacher at the time at Kaduna State Polytechnic, and she was like, when she's in school, that she notices that sometimes some of the girls are absent from school, they've gone out, they've done, and they'll say they went to pilgrimage. That was what, that was the statement, but she didn't really understand it. And then as a lecturer, she went to do her postgraduate, get her postgraduate degree from Rome, and that's where, like you said, she saw
all
these
of the
girls,
being,
in skimpy clothes
on
and
the
she's seen a lot
streets,
of black with green passports.
And these are not just Nigerians.
Yeah, but there were a lot of
Nigerians,
Nigerians then at the time, and she was seeing all of this, and it's important to note that at this point, she wasn't even the wife of an official.
Yeah, she wasn't.
She didn't have anything, but she had that burden to do something. And this is a place that a lot of other people had gone to. They've come back, and someone says, I don't like this. I'm a mother. I have children. I don't like that our girls are out here doing stuff like this. And these girls, they don't even, most of them, they come there and they are working there, they are prostituting there because they come, they seize their passports.
True.
The people that,
they don't even have access to...
seize their passport. And without your passport, without your papers, you're like a fugitive. So they bring them there and you're there without any form of identification. They've held every prostitute. So at the end of the day, these girls are told to stay there and work for these people and tender all the money that they get to whoever is, the madams or whoever that is handling them. And then they tender all this money and they do this for 10 years. You can imagine, then just think about how old you were 10 years ago. Think about what has happened in that 10 years. Think about where you were 10 years ago. Do you understand? And then you sit down and imagine how somebody will spend 10 years of their life selling their body and carrying the money to give to somebody else. That's selling your future.
Like, I think one of the things that beats me in researching about the trafficking and all of it and everything that comes with it was, these girls don't just sell their bodies. They still go to the farm to work. They're still exploited. They're still pushed into forced labor. So at the end of the day, you're prostituting and you're still under forced labor. You're still working. So you don't even have the strength.
They don't have
a
life of their own. And it is very sad. And those girls, they were taken, most of them are taken whilst they're still young. And their families, they're usually girls that, that the families are dependent on. And these are people that traffic them are usually close to the family. Yeah. So these girls don't want to go back. The thing about us and shame and the way they shame people. So you've traveled. You don't want to come back and empty-handed. Look your family in the face and there's nothing. Yeah. Because you see that when she started working to bring some of these girls, repatriate some of these girls back to Nigeria, that a lot of them were reluctant to come back. Because none of them wants to come back, face their family. I came back with nothing. I've been prostituting in Italy. Nobody wants to come, and that's not what they want to do. So a lot of them were willing. You can imagine that a lot of people were willing to stay in that bondage, to stay in that shackle, stay there and suffer. I mean, it shows you how much these people had been deprived and how much had been taken out of them, how much their minds had been messed with. And it's really important. She came at a point that, people really needed her. She said, when I get into a position of power, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that an end is put to this. I'm going to contribute my quota towards seeing this stopped. And, for so many people that make this kind of promises, mind you, she made this promise to herself. It wasn't a public promise like some people, politicians. Some politicians come out and they make promises and then they don't keep it. And somebody made a personal promise that she didn't owe it to anybody to have kept. She could have ignored it and said, after all, nobody knows that I made this promise, so I might as well just move on. But, when she found herself in a position of power, it's important to know that in 1999, October 1999, the same year that, her husband was sworn in as the vice president, that was the same year she started Whatcliff. Immediately. That is somebody who has plans and waiting, starts to implement. I've said I'm going to do this. I'm not going, there's a willpower to do what you've already said you're going to do. And I have
the platform right now.
And she did it. She didn't waste time. She called the stakeholders meeting, CSOs, wives of governors, immigration, called a meeting, 3-day workshop, and the next thing, in the first trench, 70 girls were repatriated back. The government of Italy saw what they were doing, and they were really interested, and they came to help. And girls were brought back. A couple of them were even staying in the villa with her.
That was how she came up with a rehabilitation plan. So it wasn't just bringing back the girls and leaving
them to, okay, you're back to Nigeria.
There's no plan, no follow-up plan.
Some of them were HIV positive. So you can't just bring these people back and send them out. It was a well-thought-through plan. And this is the importance of having, they had a workshop. This is the importance of having a plan. It's important when we say, ask the people for manifestos, ask them how they are going to go about it, discuss with them, find out the plans that your leaders have for you. These are the reasons we say things like this, because it wasn't enough. Bringing back those girls is good, it's laudable.
It's good, yeah.
But then you bring them back, they come here, they suffer, they're stigmatized because people living with HIV are always stigmatized in Nigeria. So you come back, you're stigmatized. The next thing, somebody else comes, they take the girl back.
Aside from even aside from even the stigmatization, they are risks. They're actually risks to the society because they go in there and they are not even aware. They circulate or share it around and all of that. So they become a social risk. And
somebody who is selling her body in Italy for money, and you bring her down to Nigeria and you don't give her any source of income or anything,
she'll go back to what she was
going to sell her body in Nigeria. That's what it is.
So
it was good what she did, that she was able to rehabilitate these people, and not just to rehabilitate them. She didn't just rehabilitate them. There were trainings and there were micro credits that were offered to these people to start businesses. So the ones that wanted to go back to school, there was a facilitation for them to go back to school. The ones that wanted to learn skills, you know, they had to teach them skills, they learned skills, and today they're employers of labor. So it was a full-fledged plan, well thought through and very well implemented, unlike so many plans that we've had in Nigeria. Well thought through and well implemented. And of course, she had the support of her husband the entire thing. She said she had her husband support the entire thing. The Obasanjo administration also worked well. A lot of, I mean, it was a nice era, to be honest, to see people that were in power working together to address a problem that was that is common to Nigerians, that actually touched Nigerians, that Nigerians needed solution. You know, unlike today, when we make a lot of noise and we say this and this and this, and it takes a long time before the government even acknowledges that, you know, you people are saying something. I talk less of addressing the issues that have been raised. Well, that was a good era, a good period for Nigeria as a nation, where we had leaders that even were interested in what we had to do and made plans to, you know, so you're bringing a private person, you're bringing in this bill. I see that this bill is going to help us. I see that this bill is going to do something for us. Okay, let's support this person. Let's make sure this bill gets passed and let's work on it. That's what we want.
She did this in 1999, and I think 2 decades have passed. That's
21 years,
21 years now.
23.
And this bill has been helping people. Look at the fruitfulness of what you said, proper planning or good policy and all of that. We have NAPTIP today.
Yeah.
Hajia Titi Abubakar is no longer the wife of the vice president today, but her legacy is still on. And a lot of young children and young girls are reaping from what she did 22, 21 years ago.
Hajia Titi Abubakar was not even a first lady.
As at when she
was a second lady. Like she wasn't the first. I'm saying that she did not have the privileges that some people have today. She did not have the privilege of being a first lady. And if as a wife of a vice president, she was able to accomplish this much, imagine what she would do as a wife of a president. And she has made that commitment that, you know, getting into power, she's going to continue. She's going to do more for the Nigerian people. She was crying out over the Almajiri still carrying pans, and I mean that's an eyesore. That's something that we shouldn't be seeing in a Nigeria of today. But I mean, I know that somebody who was able to make this kind of commitment, fight as a private citizen, work as the wife of the vice president, that as a wife of the president that we are going to see more.
All right, guys, we're going to go on a very quick break. We'll be right back.
This story did not begin in the wealthiest of wombs, or streams flowing with liquid gold and silver spoons dipped into stews garnished with privilege. In this story, the king was once a peasant, a humble son to parents of
We welcome Atiku to Kaduna State, and we're happy he's here because he's our choice for Nigeria. As you know, Atiku is a unifier. He's someone that we need at the moment right now to lead the country, to unify the country, you know, to bring economic prosperity in the country, and to solve the security situation in the country.
Shi yasa na ɗauki alƙawari na ce kashi 60 a gwamnati na tsakanin matasa ne da mata.
I think the importance of this event cannot be overemphasized. I am fascinated by Atiku Abubakar's vision and mission for Nigeria, his agenda for Nigerians, and his own conceptualization of the core issues that touch on the very heart of our developmental goals and realities and needs. And he has done needs assessment on what is required to move Nigeria forward. You only need to look at his documents and you will see where he has enunciated, where he has pontificated and expanded his vision across the various issues that affect our national life. So I am convinced without any iota of doubt that if he continues with this momentum, he will be in an unassailable position to take the leadership of Nigeria.
Inshallah, he's going to be our next president. We are proud of him, and he can do it. We know he can do it.
As one, we can get it done.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Every Woman on AtikuLive. And today is Friday. We're celebrating every Nigerian woman, but most importantly, we're celebrating someone who has done amazingly well for women and for the young girls in Nigeria. That's no other than Haja Amina Titi Atiku Abubakar, the incoming First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, God willing, in February 2023. And I'm so excited to know that what she did 21 years or 22 years ago out of passion is what a lot of people are still enjoying today. And that is Whatclef that actually gave birth to NAPTI, because that's the pure truth. That's how I see Whatclef gave birth to NAPTI, because she started Whatclef before she became the wife of the vice president as at the time. But after she became the wife of the vice president, she had a better platform to implement NAPTIP. And this is amazing. This is really, really amazing, the work she has done. We truly appreciate her. We celebrate her. Thank you. We can't wait to have her come in and actually implement every other plan, because I know she has a lot of plans for Nigeria. She's big on girl child education. She's big on trafficking. And I know she has a lot of plans for the young Nigerian women come 2023 and the next 8 years.
I mean, she's been actually, at the forefront of fighting for women representation, and even just protecting the girl child. And it's really amazing. When even the Child Rights Act that went domesticated in states, she was also at the front line working with governors, wives of governors of states, to make sure that these rights are being, domesticated. It's just amazing what she's been able to do. Even since she's left, the position of power since 2007, since leaving power, that she's been still there. And you can see that this is somebody who is passionate about what she's doing. And it's not about the position. It's not about the recognition. It's not about, me being the vice president's wife or anything. Because we've seen a lot of people start up initiatives that died. Some were dead on arrival. Some others, as soon as they were out of power, they just fizzled out. But this woman has been able to sustain this agency. She has been able until tomorrow. I think they're in Gwarimpa now. They have an office in Gwarimpa where they're still rehabilitating girls. Till tomorrow, they're still doing that. And it's really, really commendable that she has not given up and she has stayed true to herself, being consistent in representing the girl child and fighting for the rights of the girl child. I mean,
Haja Amina Titi Abubakar has a few publications to her name, and one of that is Educating the Nigerian Child. And I am really I'm really happy that we still have people who find it important that education for the girl child is necessary. Because if we don't have people like this, we've been talking about how we can have more women inclusivity in politics and in different sectors and in power. Imagine we have her as the First Lady of Nigeria from 2023, God willing.
You can even be assured that
would have the percentage of the girl child out of girl child or out of school children would drop drastically. Because this is someone that has been doing it. And when you do something for a good number of years, it becomes a hobby. You become used to it. Because I can't stand to see any child out of school. I can't stand to see that the girl child is not being trained, or the girl child is not going to school, or not even properly taken care of. Because let's not forget that even when she launched the SAH initiative, the She initiative, one of the key points of it was health and security.
Yeah.
So even education, she's not just focusing on education. There's also health. There's also security. What are we looking at? How do we train these girls to know that you have to take care of yourself? There's need for hygiene, proper hygiene. How do we make sure that these girls know that they are enough and sufficient enough, that they don't need to be trafficked out, or they don't need to be a housemaid? How do they know that they need to get to school to be where they want to be? They don't have to travel out. They don't have to go and be do this or do that. You know, there's a lot of things, and it can only come from a woman.
Yeah, I think like we said, having a woman like Titi Abubakar as the First Lady of Nigeria, we are sure that His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to deliver on his promise of 30 to 40% for women and youth. Yeah. You know, so that's something we can hold on. We know that she is going to hold him accountable to that, and that it's going to be a reality. It's not just a talk; it's going to be a reality. And then coming to the SHE initiative that was recently launched, it's like, you know, another big movement gearing up that might even be bigger than Whatcliff. You know, it might even be a bigger thing than Whatcliff. She's done Whatcliff successfully, and that's just one aspect. And then we're seeing her trying to do more. Something so security, health, education. I mean, these are the three pillars that, you know, we need to build right now, because we are facing challenges in all three aspects, especially as girls, as women. We've talked about security and how it affects women negatively, and how women, you know, in parts like of the country like Borno State, where there's a lot of insecurity, or in Niger State, how women are on the receiving end, how women make up the bulk of the population as IDP camps. We've talked about how women bear the brunt when it comes to security issues and fallout. We looked at health. We've seen how women are not properly taken care of, how there's a high rate of maternal mortality, you know, and then we've also seen poor sexual and reproductive health care in Nigeria. You know, so we know that women are not getting as much as they should. And then we've talked about education, how in looking for representation, more women representation, more female representation in politics, in power, in different sectors. Yeah, we've seen education the benefits of it. Key. Yeah, true. Education is paramount, it is important, and it is pertinent that our girl child be educated. And it's just interesting that she's beginning to pioneer on all these fronts. These all important pillars that we need to, you know, consolidate our position as women in the country, to say that we are part of the people that are going to build this nation, and we ought to be represented as well. And it was nice to see that His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar made out time to be at, you know, the launching of this event. You can see a man who is supporting this initiative. True. And then many people don't know this, but at the time that he met her, she was 19. She had just finished secondary school, and then she got married to him two years after secondary school. Yeah. And he sent her to school. He sent her to school. She said that her husband sent her to school. And you know, when people say this man is easy, this is somebody who prioritizes education. Because not a lot of men, and let's face it, not even a lot of men would, you know, want to, especially from the north, would train their wives, would send their wives to school to get educated. That's something. That's a man who prioritizes education, who understands the importance of educating the girl child, and that's what we need more of right now. I mean, even it's glaring to see the benefit of what he did. Yes, his wife is making him proud. The education that, you know, that was afforded her has enabled her to make. Imagine if somebody like this was not educated. Imagine the loss. Imagine the loss, really. That would, you know, that maybe we would not have had an anti-trafficking bill by now. Maybe we will not have NAPTIP. We still have a lot of our girls being abused outside Nigeria. So, I mean, educating, like you always say, educate a girl child, and train a girl child, you've trained the entire nation. We've seen how the training of just one girl child, just one woman, has made such a huge impact.
Well, let's look at another publication from Haji Amina Abubakar, and that is Empower Law to Fight Child Slavery. Like, I don't know what to say, but this lady, this woman is truly, we don't celebrate her enough. Yeah. We really do not celebrate her enough, because for everything that she has done, for everything she's big on, for everything she has believed on, she keeps fighting towards it. Now, she has these publications out there for people to see the importance of how fighting against child slavery is, how fire and child slavery is eating into the society deeply. If we keep transporting or exporting our children, or
you're even going far, even within Nigeria. How many people are living with, children that are not theirs? And one of my friends says it's very easy to spot the one that is not the child, one of the person's child, because they always look different. I mean, I have somebody living with me to help. Why does the person have to look different from my own children? Why is it so glaringly apparent that these are my children, and this is not my child? And that's what it is. You see 6-year-olds. I've seen 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds that are living with people. They are fetching water, they are cleaning houses, they are doing...
They're still feeding the baby.
We have a Child Rights Act.
True.
We have a Child Rights Act. There's a law against child labor. This is child labor. Why would you bring children? You as a parent or as a guardian, you don't let your child do that. It's wrong. And again, it falls back to education, because these people need to know. And then it also goes to the enforcement agents, enabling people to know what the law says about these things. I've seen children, small children, little girls, hawking on the streets when they have no business being out there on the streets. How can you have a 7-year-old hawking on the streets? What is she hawking on the streets?
Or you keep a toddler with a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old because she's your help.
They're doing that.
That's like having a child with a child.
You don't know who is feeding who.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they are both children. The person that is taking care of the child ought to be taken care of as well.
It's simple. It's called a child with a child. You have a child that has another child. It's as simple as that, because, like you said, who is going to take care of who?
Who is taking care of whom?
It's
something. You see them struggling to carry the babies. I'm like, somebody should be carrying you, and you're carrying somebody else. And they are there. Their parents are back home. The money, because these people are not paid, the money that that these people are supposed to get as remuneration is being sent back to the parents or the guardians of this child, and that's wrong. Sometimes you see the child grow up with that family. They say I need somebody that's around that age. That's what you hear. I need somebody that they can play with. No, if you need somebody that you can play with, become a legal guardian of somebody. Become a legal guardian. If you can become a legal guardian of one of your relatives, not for that person to come and clean house and do the chores for you or work as a nanny, because that's labor. If you want a playmate or somebody then become a legal guardian, train that person, send that person to school, but not to come and make this person to be a servant or a maid or enslave them in your house. That's wrong, just because you brought them out of the village. That's very wrong.
Okay, so guys, this is the much we can take on today's episode. Before we leave, we just want to say a very big thank you and celebrate none other than our woman for the week. I think I'll call her the woman for the week. Haja Amina Titi Atiku Abubakar, thank you for the work you did 22 years ago. We are seeing the dividends. We are benefiting from it. We are enjoying it. And I'm sure the entire Nigerians are enjoying from NAPTIP today, because we have seen a good number of girls being sent back home and rehabilitated and taken care of. And this was just one woman's idea, one woman. So you know what? Keep training your girl child. Take the girl child, the nearest girl child out of streets. And like I just said, you can be a legal guardian. You being a legal guardian shouldn't just be about a relative. It can be anybody from the street.
Yeah,
pick up a child and train the child. Let's keep training people around us and see how we can have a better Nigeria, a better society for all of us to live in. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Please do well to send us what you think and follow us, communicate with us through all our social media handles that are displayed right now on the screen. Until we see you next time, have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and please stay safe.
Bye. I'll see you guys next Monday. My name is Reigns Ijoma Odumodo. Have a beautiful weekend.
Bye.
Atiku for the rescue mission. Okowa for the rescue mission. Nigerians for the rescue mission. Everybody who dey fire, people just dey wanna say Atiku on the rescue mission. Okowa for the rescue mission.
Edo is for Atiku. I am sure we are going to win this election by the grace of God. The unifier is going to win this election. We're going to unify Nigeria. So I call on everybody in Nigeria to come out and vote for Atiku, the unifier.
Atiku is coming, oh. Atiku for president.
there's an urgent need to salvage Nigeria, and the only person who is going to do that is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the PDP. You can see the massive turnout. You can see how happy the people are to identify with this project.
We are coming to rescue and to restore our situation to our pride of place in Africa. There is disunity everywhere because of bad policies. The People's Democratic Party is presenting you two outstanding people who are experienced, who know what to do, who have done it before, and who will do it again.
They give us confidence.
I am one of you, and together we shall deliver the votes that will enable Atiku come as president of this country. I want to thank the Edo people for sticking together with PDP. They don't know the labels. We call on you to continue to be loyal to PDP, and PDP will be loyal to you. My fellow people of Edo State, I have come here to make these undertakings, and I promise you we will fulfill our promises.